Once again, we're playing with the lights. Our lesson of reflection today is on communicating with others of different ages. People all want to be heard and understood. The best markets, pubs, stores, everything, are those where the cashier or help will stop and listen, where the customer feels heard, where they feel listened to, understood. They feel special. The specialness of being seen, the specialness of being recognized as yourself, as unique. The feeling of being seen, being recognized, of being known as someone that matters to someone else. That isn't related to you, of course, and doesn't have to feel that way, doesn't have to act that way. That is the magic, actually, of Mr. Fred Rogers. It was also the magic of the great, late Jim Henson, too, and of his greatest Muppeteers. Those of us lucky enough to be born as tail boomers, born at the end of the baby boom, which was 1946 to 1964. So those of us born 61 to 64, plus maybe the first few years of Gen X to 66, got the joy of experiencing these great men's love in its infancy and prime, as we too were in our infancy and then our prime childhood absorption years. We learned we were loved from the moment we first saw TV show. We felt prized, seen, and recognized as valuable to Big Bird, Ernie and Bert, Oscar, Cookie Monster, Sweet Daniel the Tiger, and the beautiful wee trolley, and also, most especially, Mr. Rogers, Gordon, Susan, Mr. Hooper, Bob, Louise, and Maria. Add to this the people we had at breakfast with from birth through high school, aired 1955 through 1984 with Captain Kangaroo, real name Bob Keeshan, with the fabulous Mr. Green Jeans, Hugh Branham, as well as the various local market shows that led into that hour, or at the noon hour when kids came home from school. Can you imagine? We came home from school for lunch. We had great, loving men and women who reinforced in us that we mattered. And there was no such thing as this throwaway children's television programming. There weren't cartoons. There weren't ads that were acting as cartoons. This was educational programming for us. And it taught us self-esteem. It taught us you are loved. You matter. You are so important in this world. It never said, here's a tablet, use this. It never said, I don't have time for you. It ever said, oh, come here. Oh, I'm so happy to see you. Every single day. Every single day of our young lives, we heard, hello, how are you? Oh, I'm so glad to see you today. Do you know how reinforcing that is to a child? And we, each one of us, loved it. What those script writers, and most especially those actors and Muppeteers, did was instill a sense of integral value of each person, most especially each child person. Children today don't get this message. There is no equivalent of Mr. Rogers. Sesame Street is only for the wealthy now. Sesame Street moved to HBO in 2016. There is a dearth of child-friendly or even appropriate programming in the morning or in the afternoons on broadcast television, except for the moderate budget PBS reruns. Every child should get to grow up as we did, with Mr. Rogers, Sesame Street, and the Electric Company. Remember the Electric Company? Giving solid affirmations of self-value and reinforcing over and over and over again that love is not predicated on behavior, but liking you will. And learning all about grammar, government, mathematics, and basic science via Schoolhouse Rock. Do you remember Schoolhouse Rock? The entirety of Schoolhouse Rock is now on Disney Plus. I did not recall that there were 130 of those. I recalled the conjunction junction. What's your function? Right? You remember that one? And I'm only a bill. I'm only a bill. Right? Certain of those you all remember, and they're still in your head. But only a few of them. And the eights. How did the eights work? And those sort of things. There's just certain of them that are still in your head. If you only do a 7-day test of Disney Plus, do it for Schoolhouse Rock. But Schoolhouse Rock was at every commercial break on weekends and after school. Riding our bikes outside everywhere with the 9:30 curfew on summer, and whenever the streetlights came on. Sliding in winter on anything metal or plastic, and feeling special, loved by someone. A loved child can become anything. A loved child growing into a teenager doesn't have the anger. They still act out, but they know there is love to fall back upon. We need to find that again. With this new generation being raised by the children who have no empathy, who have no compassion, who have no ability to express love, we need to bring back a Sesame Street for them. We need to give them a Mr. Rogers again. For they need to feel love every second of their childhood. Peace of the Lord be with each of you always.